Okay, continue with chapter 7. Another contemporary theories of motivation is self-efficacy theories. So basically, when we talk about self-efficacy theory, we talk about our ability or our belief in our ability. So our confidence in our ability. So according to textbook, it's referring to individual belief that he or she is capable of performing a task. It is actually, in other words, is our belief in our capability or self-confidence in ourselves. So this belief in our capability may be because of inactive mastery, because we gain experience from performing the task or other job, or maybe because of various vicarious modeling. We become confident because seeing others doing the task, maybe we think that other can do why we cannot do. So because that can increase our confidence in ourselves. Verbal persuasions also maybe because we become more confident when someone convinced that we have the skill or someone has the skill, so why not we try it, so we may have the skill. Arousal, we become more confident in ourselves when we have this arousal, where we have this energized state, drive to complete the task. Some people, they easily giving up. Some people, when they face difficult tasks, they feel more motivated to fulfill, to complete the task. So those who have high self-efficacy, they have more arousal. They have more confidence in themselves. They believe in their ability. So even though they face some problems, challenges, but they keep doing it because they have that kind of drive to complete the task. They have that kind of patience. So this is also known as social cognitive theory and social learning theory. So the implication of self-efficacy theory, one of the effects is Pygmalion effects. I already discussed this in chapter 5, if I'm not mistaken. It's based on verbal persuasion. So basically, it's like if you believe that you can do it, people said you can do it, you can do it. So when people persuade you, or when people encourage you, give you some encouragement, saying that you can do it, you can do it, you become like, you believe in yourself that you can do it. So it's a form of self-fulfillment prophecy, believing that something make it true, that something can make it true. So if you believe you can, then it will make it true, it will become reality that you can. So that's important, putting some optimism in ourselves, putting some motivation in ourselves, because this kind of believing in ourselves actually can make it become reality. So training program also can makes someone who have self-efficacy become better. So can make use of inactive mastery by by attending more training, so they become more self-confident and high self-efficacy in themselves. Another theory is reinforcement theory. This is very related to motivation theory, also very popular in any textbook, especially under chapter motivations. So this reinforcement theory is behavior is defined as a behavior is a function of its consequences. So if the consequences of your behavior is positive, you tend to repeat doing it. If the behavior, if the consequence of your behavior is negative, you tend to not doing it. For example, I'll give you an example later. I'll just explain what is meant by reinforcement. Reinforcement is like it giving you more reinforcement, giving you more motivation to do it if it is positive. If it is negative, you become more demotivated. You do not want to do it. So, for example, reinforcement behavior, the function of the behavior because of the consequence. If you sing in the public and then public or audience clap because they like your singing, then you tend to repeat in the future because the consequence of your singing is liked by others, so you tend to repeat singing in the future. But if you sing and then the consequence is negative, the outcome is negative, the audience didn't like your voice, they didn't like your songs, so you become more phobia, you become more nervous. After that, you become more shy about yourself, so you lost the self-confidence, so you will not repeat singing in the public in the future because of negative outcome. So the negative outcome is the consequence. If it is positive outcome, you tend to repeat in the future. If it is negative, you will not repeat in the future. So another theories that relate to reinforcement is operant conditioning theories. This theory is very popular, being conducted in the dog theory of learning, how dog learns. When they hear about the bell, they salivate because they've been uh, conditioned with the meats before. So here they also apply to people. People learns to behave to get something they want or to avoid something they do not want. So it's actually been done by B.F. Skinner. It's very popular among psychologists under behaviorism's branch. So he demonstrates that people most likely to engage in desired behavior if they are positively reinforced. Positively reinforced means, like I mentioned, they tend to do here more likely to engage in desired behavior, more likely to engage in singing behavior if they receive positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is like a clapping the hand. So negative reinforcement maybe when people boo them or throw the eggs on them. So that's kind of negative outcome, negative reinforcements. Behavior that is not rewarded or punished is less likely the outcome or the behavior to be repeated. Let's say you present at the front of the class, and then after you present, people didn't like it, you feel shy, you cannot speak, and so on. So that's mean it is not rewarded. But after you present or during the presentation, your friends give a support, clap their hand. So it's kind of rewarded. You tend to repeat in the future. But if it is not rewarded, if it is punished, you tend to not repeat in the future. Next is social learning theory. So this is social learning. So we can learn through something through observation and direct experience. So that's why sometimes we learn through we learn to do something just by observing others. For example, if this behavior is acceptable by public, you tend to do it. If it is not accepted, you will avoid doing it. So sometimes you just a direct experience. Maybe you have a direct experience about something, you become good at it, or you do not want to repeat it. So social learning theory is based on observation, like we observe or we watching TV, and we watch what happened to the actors or actress in the movie. So we tend to not to do it if it is bad. If it is good, we tend to repeat it. So model are central. That means the model that we watch either on TV or through direct observation. Models, I mean the actress or the actors that we watch is considered models, are central, are very important. And four processes determine their influence on individual. That means the model influence on individual. So these four processes, first one is attentional processes, second retentional processes, motor reproduction processes, and reinforcement processes. So when we observe something or when we experience something, if we can learn more from the model that we observe or the thing that we observe if we pay attention to them. If we pay attention, we become more aware. We tend to focus our attention to the model. Then we aware about what's going on around. So we tend to repeat more if it is good. If we ignore, if we didn't pay attention, then how we want to capture the moments, how we want to retain the information. So it is important, in order to learn something from observing, is to give our attention or to pay attention more to the surrounding or to the stories. Retention processes, the model, that the things that we observe or the person that we observe, we can learn something from them if we could retain the information that they impart. So a model influence depends on how well we remember the model action. For example, if children watching TV, if they could remember exactly what the model are doing, they can repeat or they can reproduce that action in their own life or in their own way outside the TV. So it is important for the viewer to be able to remember what happens when they observe the model. Model reproduction, when they observe the model, they could remember what's the model action in the movie. For example, they could reproduce. They could when they watch it, they could convert what they are doing, what the model's doing, into their behavior. If they could reproduce the same behavior, that means they're learning something. They retain the information from what they observe, and they reproduce. They're acting on that. And then reinforcement process, when if individuals are motivated to exhibit the model behavior from the watching or observations, if positive incentive are provided, if for example, if they watch the behavior, for example, in model on TV, if they watch the model behave like this, or the actor behave like this, and they remember, because they focus their attention, they remember, they could even reproduce the act on this. For example, you can see that children, they normally acting, talking to themselves like they are acting in the movie that they watch. If let's say their parents reward them, give them incentive, for example, giving them the toys that they like by behaving like that, so their behavior will be repeated because their action is positively is rewarded or giving incentive for doing it. So by doing this, they could learn something, maybe through direct observation or through watching TV. That's why children are very vulnerable to advertisements, movie, and so on. So children need to be monitored so that they don't watch something that they cannot intellectually filter some of the information. Expectancy theory is our depend on our expectations. Is a tendency to act in a certain way depend on the expectation that we have that's follow after the outcome. So is this expectation is based on our expectation. If we expect something good, then it become good. So this relationship is depending on three elements: effects performance relationship, performance reward relationship, and reward personal goal. So it's actually depend on our expectation. If we put effort, by giving effort, we expect that we can improve performance, and we expect that this performance will be rewarded, and this reward is actually important for us to achieve our goal. So we tend to put more effort. So our effort is depend on our expectation. It's our effort. We expect that by putting effort will lead to high performance. This high performance will lead to high rewards, and this high reward will be able to achieve our goal. Then we tend to put more effort. So this what explained by the expectancy theory. Individual need to put effort depend on their expectation. Is expectation by putting effort lead to performance, and this performance lead to rewards, and these rewards are actually important to achieve their personal goal. Then they will put more effort. They will be more motivated to put more effort. So expectancy, effort lead to performance. Instrumental performance reward relationship. So in other words, this effort performance is called expectancy, performance reward relationship, instrumentality, reward personal goal is balance. So here expectancy, here is instrumentality, here number 3 is balance. Equity theory based on our comparisons from the input and output. So from the cause and effects. So if we perceive our ratio, our input is equal to the other's input, I mean in terms of salary. For example, if employee A receive same salary as us, but our input is more than their input, but we give the same salary, given the same salary, we consider this unequal. So the ratio of unequal is called discussed under equity theory.